Hello everyone, welcome to this second podcast on second podcast video. And today we're going to talk with Edouard Fiess. I don't know if I pronounce in a good way your name. Uh,
Yes, very good pronunciation.
Perfect. So you are the CEO and co-founder of Navily. So
Exactly.
platform. This is very interesting. So can you explain about this company? Explain. Yes, go ahead. Explain everything about it.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. Navily is a little bit like a TripAdvisor, but when you're on your boat. So let's say today you have your boat and you're getting out of the marina and you're wondering where you're going to go, and that's when Navily can help you. So we are a cruising guide where people can share their reviews, photos, information on the places where they've been, and so you can decide. Based on reviews, you can say, "Oh, this anchorage looks better. This marina looks better," and I'd rather be there tonight. And so that's the original idea. And on top of that, we added the ability to book a berth in marinas. So if you say tonight I'm in Nice and I want to go to Cannes tomorrow, you can book a berth in Cannes easily, and so that makes your vacation a lot nicer.
It's very interesting. So, this platform is available in few countries, but you start in France.
Yes, we started in France. We started the Mediterranean Sea because that's where there are a lot of people sailing there. It's a great place to sail, and so that's where we started, and we expanded over time. So now we do all of the Mediterranean coast, and we also do the Canaries, the Caribbean. We have a bit of people in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. A few people that are right now in Thailand, Sri Lanka, and sailing in this area. So it's very international. But the heart of the Navily community is really Europe and the Caribbean.
Okay, very interesting. And so, the second question I always wanted to ask you this is, how did you have the idea to create Navily?
The Like a lot of startups, the idea comes from a personal issue. So my co-founder and my co-founder, his name is Benjamin, and he taught me how to sail. So that I started sailing with him and his parents. And one summer we went on vacation together with just the two of us on the boat, and we had a great time. But we had terrible evenings, terrible nights at the anchor, and so we were searching for at 2, 3 a.m. we woke up, bad weather, and we said so we had to change anchorage. We had to lift the anchor and go in the middle of the night to find another anchorage because the wind had changed, the weather had changed, and we said, oh, I would love to share my experience with other people. We would love to be able to warn other users that this area is not good if there's this wind, or if there's these conditions, it's not great. And so what we thought was it was the beginning of iPhone and iPads were becoming like a little more common. It was the beginning of the apps, and so we thought, okay, maybe we can create an app where people can share their knowledge, and that can a little bit replace forums, because the information that you have online, on forums, on the web is usually lost. Because if you go today and say, hey, I've been here, and you write on this topic saying this anchorage is great, within 2 or 3 weeks your new topic is at the bottom of on page 30, and so no one will ever read it again, and it makes it hard to browse. And so you need geolocalized data that you're
Yeah.
going to go to Corsica, you're going to go near Bonifacio, and you're going to say, I want to find the perfect anchorage in this area, and you want the information that is just for this area. And so that's how it started, really as a need for us to share our knowledge and to have the knowledge
Oh,
of others.
interesting. So it means that if I have a boat and I want to find a berth, I can just book it through the application or the apps, or I can.
Exactly. So we have so right now we partner with 700 marinas, a little more than 700 marinas mostly in Europe and the Caribbean, and you can and the marinas manage their profile. You can calculate automatically the price for your boat on the app. So you say, my boat is 12 meters by 3 meters, it's a sailboat, and then we give you the price. You send your request to the marina. The marina can then manage the request, so they can see your profile and they can say, yes, I have a berth, or no, I don't have a berth. And so that's how you can easily book a berth. the main advantage for marinas, it's an issue. Managing reservations is complicated for marinas because people will call the day before, they will call in the morning, but the marina doesn't know yet, because they know, marinas know during the high season especially, they know around like 12, 1 p.m. That's when they know people have left, and so they have like 10 places for tonight, and so if you call at 8 a.m., they're going to tell you, can you call back at 1 a.m.? Can you call back at 1 p.m.? If you call the day before, they're going to be like, can you call back tomorrow? If you send an email, they're going to do the same. And so it's a lot of wasted calls and wasted emails to tell people to come back later. And so in the end, what they do is, people send requests on Navily, and then when the marina knows, they go on Navily and they say yes to all the people that they know, to all the spots that are available. And when they're out of spots, they say no.
Okay, it's not like, for example, the Marina, you use your apps, and she said, okay, yes, tomorrow we have maybe 5 berths available from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. We can just add this data in the apps, or it's just in the present moment?
Yes, it's not real time. This is something that we would like to do, but this is something that is complicated to do. It needs a lot of development technologically. Marinas are still, their tools are still a little limited for that, and so that's one of the issues that we have with the market at the moment. There needs to be some evolution, some technological evolution of the tools that marinas use, so that we have real-time availability. The issue is, you can have if you look online, you can have a berth that looks free, but somebody just got in the marina and with their boat, and there's the little guy that comes and welcomes you, and they say, oh, you can go on B14, it's free, and then in real life B14 is not free anymore, but on your document it's still free. So then if you had somebody that books it, so you need to manage this real-time thing, you need to manage it well, and so that requires better tools for that, and which don't really exist at the moment, or are not really.
Okay, and do you want to work on it for the future, or for you it's not very useful?
I think it's the future.
Yeah.
I think this is where the market will go, because just like restaurants and hotels, real-time booking is going to make a big difference. People want to book real-time. The issue is, we need to find a way to provide this, and there's also a little bit of there needs to be a change of mentality for marinas, which right now are not really keen. They don't really want to do real-time bookings, because they want to manage who comes in, who doesn't. They want to decide this boat can come, this boat cannot come, and so it's something that there needs to be a change of like a mentality.
Understand.
It will evolve. It will take time, because we started in 2014, and already in like 7 years, things have changed. 9 years. Things have changed a lot already. So so we see that there's change, and I think
it's good. On when you want to Marina, like you contact Marina to add the Marina in your apps. This is easy, or sometimes you need to negotiate?
No, it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time, because a lot of marinas they don't really want to do reservations. They don't really want to do bookings, because it's not because they don't necessarily work like that. It works without it, and so they're like, no, we don't take bookings. Yes. People just come, and when people come and when people arrive, we tell them, yes, there's a spot, and no, there's no spot. But I think that I think it's a little bit the old school way. I understand that it works. It works well for the marina, because the marina doesn't have too much work to do. But I think it's a terrible service for the user, because the user, if you think about you or me, and if we are on a boat and you need to sail, so if you're on a motorboat, it's different. But if you're on a sailboat and you need to sail for 3-4 hours to go to a spot, and when you arrive, they tell you, sorry, no spot.
Yeah.
Then you sailed 4 hours for nothing, and you need to find a spot at the last minute, and maybe you don't have food, and you don't have electricity, and maybe you don't have water, and what do you do, So you want to be able to organize your vacation a little bit, and you want to know that, on Tuesday you'll be there, and then on Friday you'll be there, and you have 3 days to reach the spot, and so having this stability, having this like security is important for a lot of sailors, especially for the newer generation. When you're sailing with your family, when you're sailing with like little kids, or when you're sailing with the, you don't want to spend. Some people don't care because they have 6 months of a vacation,
Yeah.
and so they can wait for 3 days to have a spot in the marina. But if you have like 10 days of vacation or 7 days of vacation, you want to make sure that on Tuesday you're there, and then on Friday you're there, because otherwise you're not going to reach your end spot, or you're not going to do everything you want to do.
Yeah, understand. But this apps, it's a good example of digitization. I always talking about digitization, especially in the maritime and yachting industry. And we can see that for Marina, it's very complicated nowadays to change things. And you are a good example when you try to say to a marina, okay, we develop these apps, thanks to our services, we can help us to manage easily every berth, etc. But some marinas say they like hesitate to say yes. That's the
Yeah, that's where it takes time. You have some marinas that will tell you. Some marinas have told us no, no, no for 3 years, 4 years, and then they say, okay, you've called us 15 times. Let's try it. We tried for 2 weeks. We tried for 3 weeks, and we see if we're happy with it. And a lot of these marinas, they try it, and they're like, wow, it's great. It's super useful. It's super practical. I save so much time. Because they realize that when someone calls, they're just like, go on Navily, book on Navily. It's super easy. They have all the details. They have all the boat details, the phone number. They have all the information of the user. So they realize that it makes them save a lot of time. It's easier for them to organize. They don't have to spend a lot of time on the phone, spend a lot of time replying to emails. And so once they start using it, they're like, okay, it's actually a cool tool. So they think that it's going to be very complicated. They think it's going to change everything. But and also another important part is they have users that book on Navily, and they say, wow, it's amazing. The booking is like so useful. It's so cool that I can book, especially when you have a lot of foreigners. And in the Mediterranean Sea, we have a lot of foreigners. We have a lot of British people. We have a lot of German people, Dutch, people from like different nationalities. I don't know how many nationalities we have on Navily, but it's very, 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 very big. And so when you're German and you need to book in a marina in France and you don't speak French,
that's a big deal.
Being able to book on the app and say just without having to talk the language is so cool.
Yeah,
so
because
easy.
I've seen in the apps you have like a few languages. You have Spanish, German, French, English, maybe
Italian,
Yes.
yes.
So yeah, it's a big deal. So it's very good because you adapt from different nationalities. Everyone know that people in the Mediterranean Sea, most of the time this is people from North Europe, like German people, Dutch people, etc. So yeah, that's you understand how to adapt for not take French, because that's
Yes,
the problem
exactly.
of a lot of company in France just take like French views, they don't want to
Yes.
expand their business on this.
It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to start in my country and I'm going to see how it goes in my country. But the issue is that when you're on the water, there are no borders, and and you have like if you go, especially if we started on the French Riviera, we started here around Nice, and in Nice. The amount of people that come from Italy, the amount of British people, German, Dutch, you have a lot of foreigners that come here. You have big airport. It's a very nice coast. You have Corsica that's very close. You have the Italy is like right next door. So if you don't think internationally right away, you waste a big opportunity. It's a gigantic opportunity that's wasted if you don't think I need to be international. I need to think international, different currency, different languages, different like ways of sailing as well, because for example, German people don't sail as much in July and August. They sail in June and September. But Italians sail a lot in between the 15th of July and the 15th of August because their vacation just happen like that, So you need to think very internationally. And I think that's one of the advantages that we had with Benjamin is that our curriculum and the way we did our studies, we spent a lot of time abroad, and that helped us have this multicultural
Approach. Yes,
thought process.
it's a good
Approach.
thing. Yes, but because I've seen on your background, so before create Navily, you worked in the marketing field. So can you tell us
Yes.
about it?
Yes, I worked. I used to work for. I worked for two companies in the domain name hosting and server
Web.
sector. One company that I followed first. I worked for in Spain, then in Paris, then in Italy, and then when I was in Italy, I moved to another company that worked in the same sector. And very interesting job. Domain names, websites and stuff. I've seen a boom in the last 20 years for sure. And everybody now has a website. Everybody has although now people are moving to like
Mm.
more like Facebook pages or things like that. But it's so easy to create a website now. But you still need a domain name. You still need the hosting, and so it was a very interesting market, especially with a lot of auto entrepreneurs that were created in France. There was a lot of people that created new businesses in the last like 10, 15 years. They created new businesses, usually solopreneurs, people
Mm.
that create a business just by themselves, but they still need a website, they still need a domain name, they still need to be visible on the web. And so my job was to attract new customers, find new customers, and also work on our existing customers and try to upsell them and give them new tools, give them new products.
Okay, interesting. So that's why when you create Navily, for you it was quite easy to promote your brand. Yes,
Yes.
it was something not complicated, but you still need to recruit some people, especially developer, to create the ecosystem. Can you tell us
Yes.
about the team? How many people you have?
Yes, right now we have about 15. We're close to 15 people, and we have for a long time at the beginning, our dev team was mostly outsourced, and now we have a dev team that is in-house that is much more structured. We have about four or five people full time in Navily. So one of the issues with services like Navily is that you need an Android dev, you
Mm.
need an iOS dev, you need backend, you need a front end, you need a designer, you need a project manager for all of this, and so it's very hard at the beginning to say, okay, I'm going to recruit 5 people because you don't have the money at the beginning.
Mm.
So that's where we worked with an agency, and that really helped us start the business, and that was great at the start, very helpful. And then the company grew, and now because we do more, we have more needs, we have a little more money, so we managed to hire people in the dev team. And then on the side we have a lot of the rest of the team is a sales team that manages all the marinas, all the bookings, because when you have a booking,
Mm.
we tend to do a follow-up with the marina or a follow-up with the user who's to understand what he wants, maybe because we do bookings for 1 or 2 nights, but we also do bookings for like 6 months, a year, or longer. And so sometimes people are like, oh, I'm searching for a place to put my boat for like a whole year in Spain or in Italy, in Sicily or in Greece, and then we help them find the right marina and secure a spot so maybe we compare like different marinas and help them find
Okay,
the best one, the best price.
so you have few services in Navily. It's not just
Yeah.
about books, berths. You have a wide range of services, like you said.
Yeah, we have two. Let's say we have three main sites to Navily. The heart of Navily is the cruising guide where people can share information. We have the booking. So the cruising guide is TripAdvisor. The second one is the booking, which is like Booking.com but for marinas.
Mhm.
And the third one is kind of like Waze. On Navily, you can see other users when they're logged in. You can see them on the map, so you can, like, for example, say tomorrow you want to sell to an anchorage that you see on the map, and you see that there's already like a guy named John that's already in the anchorage. So you can tap on his profile, send him a message, and say, oh, how is the condition? How are the conditions? Is there still room for me? Is there still a spot left? And the guy will reply to you on the chat and say, yes, there's still room for you. I'll tell you, look, I'm leaving, but there are too many waves, too much swell, so you should find some other place. And so that helps that's based on the community, and that helps bring the power of the community to everyone, so that you can really find the right. It's about finding. It's about making sailing easier, smarter, and because you don't. Otherwise, if you still rely on books, the information you have on books can be 4 or 5 years old, and you don't have real time information. So if we help you find the right anchorage, right marina, then your vacation is going to be better, and then there's a good chance that you'll be sailing next year. And I think that's one of our key things in Navily. We want to make sure that the new generation, people like you, will go sailing in the future, and people like you, every day you use Uber, you use Airbnb, you use TripAdvisor, you use apps. And so if when you get on a boat, I tell you, hey, here is this 400-page book, read it before you go sail, you won't sail, you won't go on a boat. So I think it's important to have new tools like that.
Of course, so something very interesting. I own a boat in the French Riviera, so it was in Cannes, and it's very complicated to find a berth. We have a big shortage, and what you propose, the service of your apps are very useful for people, especially foreign people, because sometimes people don't know that we have a big problem in the French Riviera to find berth. And yes, so that's something again very interesting. And I don't know if it's right what I say, but maybe most of people using your apps, it's especially in the French Riviera, no, isn't it?
No, we have today I would say about let's say probably 50 or 60% of more like 60% of our business is abroad. Is outside of France.
Huge, it's huge. So
very international.
Since the beginning, you decided to.
Yes, but at the beginning, Italy and Spain. I think Italy and Spain were 2% in 2018 or 2019. Italy and Spain were 2%, and now Italy is our biggest market.
Oh, now Italy is your biggest market.
Yeah.
More than France.
Yeah.
Wow, impossible.
So Italy and then Spain and then France.
Okay. So
yeah, they're very very, but definitely, and I think it's important for us to have different markets and not be just on one market, and not be just strong in France. I think we really want to be be strong everywhere in the Mediterranean, because then sometimes you have an issue in one country, or for example, you have an issue with when we had COVID. We realized that a lot of the people did not move. We were used to having a lot of foreigners in France, but we had only French people in France, and we had only Italians in Italy, and mostly Spanish in Spain, because a lot less people traveled. So it's important when you have these things. If your business is distributed, you lower the risk.
Okay.
So
okay, interesting. And a second thing that I've noticed on your the apps, it was you have a premium features. I don't know what is it exactly.
Yes. So premium is a membership for Navily users, which allow them to have access to different tools in the app, other functionalities. So for example, you'll have an offline mode, which allows you to download the map and download all the spots offline, which is super practical. For example, if you're crossing to Corsica, but you want to have access when you don't have internet, or if you're going to the islands in Croatia, or in between islands, or in the islands in Greece, and you're afraid, or maybe you don't want to spend too much money on your phone plan, and download hundreds of megabytes of data on Navily, and so downloading offline is one important part. You have another one, which is the filters on the map. It allows you to basically say on the map, I only want to see anchorages with a beach and a restaurant that are protected from the west, because you know that there's wind blowing from the west, and so then we hide all the spots and we just show these spots so that you can easily know, okay, this is the spot where we could go. You can find it. Then we have itineraries, so you can easily calculate the distance between two spots, and we'll show you the itinerary around between where you are and your next spot, for example. And then the fourth one is the weather. where we have on Navily something basically. If you're on an anchorage, will be well protected from some areas. So say the anchorage is protected from the west, west to north, north northwest, west, and obviously you know the weather. So we have the weather forecast, and basically we compare the weather forecast with the protection from the anchorage, and with the reviews, and we're able to come up with a score, and we can tell you this anchorage is perfect for right now, but it will be bad during the night. And so this prevents you. This makes it like much easier to find the right anchorage for the night, and decide if you want to stay here or if you want to go somewhere else. And so that's one of the advantages of Navily Premium is you have access to this forecast, which comes in the form of a graph, that will allow you to see how it evolves over time, and you can say, hey, this anchorage looks good. You see the wind and the swell is within the protected area, so you have a good score, and so you know that you can go there tonight, and you can. That it will,
okay, you say to people, okay, during a west wind, it's not a good idea to stay in this berth. So you give advice tips for
exactly.
It's not only you have to know this, and you educate people how to find the good information.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do this work out, finding the information about every marina? How are you making the research? You ask people, you have a specific team?
So all of the data is user generated. So
Okay.
just because we have such a big community that we have like people that say, oh, this is like that, this anchorage this is the name of this anchorage. Here's a photo of the anchorage. This anchorage has a beach. This anchorage is well protected. So it's all based on it's mostly based on customer data, user data, and then we do have our team that manages all the marinas that anyway calls the marinas every year. We update their profile, we update their photos, we update their services, the phone number, their email address, which is getting which the work is getting bigger and bigger because when we started we had a 1-200 marinas. Now we have 12,000 marinas on the map and 18,000 anchorages. So it's a lot of work It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work there. Do you have some competitor in the market?
We have a few competitors. Yes. On the cruising guide part, we don't have a lot of competitors. It's very complicated to make a business out of it. It's very complicated we were kind of the first to do that. So because we're the first, we had time to grow and grow our database. And now you have a few people that are trying, but it's a little complicated because the community will see Navily and they'll see that there are a lot of anchorages, there are a lot of reviews, there's a lot of photos. So they don't know why they would put their comments on another platform because there's already everything there, As if you started today a new platform to rank restaurants, people would be like, I have Google Maps, I have TripAdvisor, why would I create a third one to kind of hard.
Okay.
So on this part it's a little harder. You don't have a lot of competitors, and then on the booking part, we do have a few competitors that are coming. Some started and then failed and then stopped. It is also a complicated business because you need a lot of users to make money out of it. You need a lot of users and you need a lot of marinas. So it's very capital intensive. You need to invest a lot of money. You need to have a lot of salespeople. It's going to take a lot of time. Say tomorrow you create your company and you do that and you want to get the Marina of Nice, let's say for example. When you're going to go see the Marina of Nice, once you have the Marina of Nice, you have 0 users. So you still need to buy all your users. And your users they won't come if you have just one marina. So they'll come if you have 100, 200, 300 marinas, which means that you need to spend a lot of money to get all the marinas. You need to spend a lot of money to get all the users, and that's intensive.
How did you manage this? Did you raise some fund, or did you manage this?
Yes, we raised a bit of money, so we have a few investors that really helped us grow the company, and then it's a lot of time as well.
Of course.
It's mostly for us is because it took us a long time, but the time part is a very important part of the process, because you have, as I said at the beginning, you have marinas that said they say no for 3 years, 4 years, and after 4 years they say yes. So
Mm.
you need to be there in the market. Time in the market is a very important part to create your brand, create your business, create trust, relationship, and then at some point people say, okay, I thought that you were going to die 2 years ago, but you're still here and you're still working. You work with more marinas, and you have more and more
Yeah, now it's
users,
easier for you. But
and
at the beginning, it was quite complicated.
very complicated.
Yeah. But you
Yeah, when
stay focused on, you say yeah, that's it.
when we started in 2014 and we started talking with marinas, I think because at the beginning we just had the TripAdvisor part of the app. We didn't have the marinas, and so we thought, oh, we could do something with marinas. Let's go talk with like 20. So we started talking with 20 marinas, and I think that out of 20, 19 said it's never going to work.
Wow.
And so we were stupid enough to say, okay, you're wrong. I'm going to prove you're wrong, and I'm going to do it. Even if you say it's not going to work, I'm going to do it anyway. And so we did. But it takes it took a lot of time. And it took a lot of time working with the marinas.
But now they say no. They say yes. They say yes.
Now they say now they're happy. They say, okay, they see the numbers and they're like, okay, there are a lot of people. There's a lot of people coming. There's a lot of people looking at the marina. There's, this is they see that our data is like integrated into more apps as well. We have a few integration with in chart plotters. So for example, we work with companies like Navico.
Yeah.
The Navico has a CMAP, Raymarines, and these brands, and so all the Navily data is integrated into the CMAP app. So if you open the CMAP app and you see the spots, it's Navily data. We're working with Raymarine as well to integrate all the Navily data in Raymarine chart plotters. So tomorrow on your boat, you'll be able to have all the Navily data in chart plotters. And so marinas understand as well that when they update their profile is updated on all these platforms as well. So it's like one update, and you get all the data,
Yeah.
and so that's another attractive spot for them, attractive point.
Okay, interesting. Did you think when you start the project, one time I want to give up? Yeah, it's too complicated.
Yeah, it's I think that like any business, but I think that in company creation there are moments where you're like. It's never gonna I'm not gonna make it. It's too hard. It's too complicated. It's not working. When you have like a customer that you thought was gonna say yes and then he says no, or when you have an issue in the app, or when you have an issue with some users, sometimes are not happy. And it's part of the business, part of it's part of life.
Yeah,
You
of
have
course.
people that they use your service and say, oh, your service is shit, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Why?
You are
Why?
hard,
Yeah, why are you so mean? But then the person thinks it, and so it's important to talk with the person, understand, and then see if you can improve, see if you can fix things. Sometimes you have people that are just not nice, and you say, okay, whatever,
But,
forget about it.
of course, but
Next.
your business model, you can improve it thanks to the users.
Exactly.
So that's why it's feedback are very important.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's true for all businesses.
Of course.
Your customers are always the ones that know best in a way, because they're the ones buying. So if they buy, they buy for a reason. If they don't buy, they don't buy for a reason. So if 90% of your customers don't buy, then there's a lot of value in understanding why they don't buy. And so even if it hurts, even if you don't agree, they hold the credit cards. They decide.
I completely agree with you. I want to ask you two last questions. So the first one, this is, what is your favorite place in terms of sailing? Where do you like?
That's a very, very tough question. I haven't sailed in in thousands of places, but I would say that the Porquerolles is a
Oh yeah.
beautiful place. It's a very nice place. I know you're from Antibes, so you know the area. I think that the French Riviera is a great place. You have beautiful coves,
Mm.
very scenic, and it's a little complicated in the summer. You have a lot of people in the summer, so
But it's,
yeah, so it's great in June. It's great in September. July and August is a little complicated, but it's a little bit like that everywhere in the Med. Huh? Then another place that I really like is Corsica
mm.
and then South La Maddalena, the north of Sardinia. Stunning places,
Okay.
absolutely beautiful. Amazing, amazing. The beach is amazing. The sand is
Yeah.
amazing. The water is beautiful. The food is great. It's always a pleasure to sail in these areas, and Corsica is majestic. The
Yeah.
mountains. So
Good.
I
I thought you will say Amalfi Coast, Italy, because you really like Italy.
So I have never sailed. I have never sailed down to the Aeolian Islands or Sicily or Amalfi Coast. I've done a little bit, but very small. So Amalfi is another stunning place. Yes,
Yeah.
but I did it more by land than by sea. So
Okay.
I would need to do it by sea, but it's big. It's expensive. Huh? Amalfi Coast is
Of
an
course.
expensive area. I think that's what and I think that. Let's say for good value, I think that the French Riviera is amazing in terms of value. You have beautiful, really beautiful places. Food is always good, and the prices are very very affordable. And if you go, I think Italy is a pretty expensive place. You have a lot of tiny. Amalfi Coast is a lot of small marinas.
Yeah,
It's
lots of, yeah.
so it's not easy to you can't have like thousands of boats there, and it's a little there's a lot of tourism, so it becomes
For
expensive.
Cinque Terrace, for example, it's very complicated if you sail because you don't have big marina. So yeah, you always need to be at moorings. You cannot just go.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
But that's beautiful. The Cinque Terre is
Cinque
a
Terrace,
beautiful,
yeah,
it's an
we
amazing
agree
place.
about it.
One place that I would like to sail to that I've never. Two places I would love to go to Croatia, and I would love to do Greece.
Oh,
I think Greece is something that you do. You need to spend 4 years or 5 years in
you
Greece
have
to
so many
do.
islands you need, of course.
It's amazing, and because one of the things that we do in Navily and that we that's part of our daily job is the moderation of content. So we look at all the comments, we look at all the photos, we look at all the new spots that people add. So we spend our day, don't spend all our day, but we spend a part of our day looking at photos and looking at comments. And you read and we share. We have a channel on our Slack messaging where we share like the best photos. And you have people that send like the most beautiful photos in Greece, in Croatia, or in the Caribbean. You have like amazing places. Really like I think it's you could sell for years and years and years and never get tired of like those beautiful sunsets, sunrises.
Wow, you gain experience from your community, from your users. That's something very beautiful.
Sometimes you have people that ask me a question, and they say, "Oh, do you know this anchorage?" And I've never been there, but I've read so many comments about the anchorage or the area that I can tell you, like, "Oh yeah, this is a good anchorage. Oh, this is good. Oh yeah, I heard about this one. Oh, I heard about this place." And so just from the comments I've read, and although I've never been there, I can tell.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So, can you say? Do you want to say last things about Navily, maybe to finish?
That's I think that I want to go back to what I said earlier, and one of the reasons why we started Navily is in French we have a saying, we say radio ponton. So
Yeah.
the idea of saying, oh, I when I'm at my marina, I know the guy next to me, and I know the guy next to me on my right and next to me on my left, and the radio ponton is the fact that these guys are going to tell me where they went, where they've been, and I'm going to exchange information, and that's like my little circle is like my doc is who I share information with. And the issue with the Radio Ponton is that it's limited to the people that are right next to you. You know, the guy who is 10 boats down up, you don't talk to this guy unless you know him, but usually you don't talk to this guy. And so the knowledge is very limited, or then it's at the bar at the Marina. That's where you're gonna like exchange information about where you went with the other people that are at the bar, maybe. But it's limited in terms of reach. And the issue is that you have the generation of sailors right now is getting older and older, and you have a whole generation that will retire from sailing in the next 15 years. And what I was afraid of before Navily was that their knowledge would disappear with them. If you stop sailing 2 years later, 3 years later, you've forgotten most of the places where you went,
Yes.
And you can't help anyone with where they could go.
Change, of course.
And so that's the issue. These people, maybe they would talk to their nephews or they will talk to their sons, but most probably their knowledge will disappear. And so with Navily, we managed to capture this knowledge and give it a second life. And because the knowledge is automatically translated, if you have a French guy who is like 75 right now and is going to add a comment, you can have an Italian in 2 years that is like 35 that just started sailing that will read the comment from this 75-year-old French that he would have never met. And maybe this way, the life of the 35-year-old Italian will be like so much easier, and his sailing will be so much easier. And I think that it's important to protect this and to make sure that all this knowledge like stays alive, and has a second life.
Well, that's exactly what you want with your Navily.
Exactly.
Great, good. Thank you very much, Edouard, to be part of this podcast.
And thank you. It was very nice.
Yes, it was very nice, and maybe I hope we'll see you for a new episode in the future. We don't know.
Yes, and if you're ever down in Nice, come say hi.
I will do it without problem. Thank you very much, Edouard. Have a nice
Thank you.
Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.